I'm Isaiah. As you are feeling yourself, experiencing reality, that which you call your reality, that which you are interpreting through the senses that you are aware of. Indeed, you have a sense even that you have senses. What is this sense that you have senses, be it a physical sense or popularly a sense that is non-physical or perhaps intuitive? Is your sense of balance a physical sense of balance, or is it a non-physical kind of balance, for you wish you could balance your lives better, balance your feelings better, and not just your physical sense of balance? And yet, though one is felt as physical and the other as emotional or psychological balance, they are still a sense of balance. But what is balance? It is perhaps regarded as an equal measure of weight on one side of the equation, balanced by an equal measure on another side, and therefore you have balance. And yet, the earth is balanced, but is there more water or more land? Or is there more air? Do you have more cells, or do you have more space in between your cells? You say, is there even space between the cells? Certainly, your newer understanding of physics has begun to show you that as atoms are condensed together through their own energy, so to speak, you interpret it as a solid, as you are here in front of this table, or sitting on the floor or on the couches as you are. You regard it as solid, and yet scientifically you yourselves have come to know that a solid is simply this mass of atoms that are together, bound in such a way that it may support you as a solid object. And yet there is space between the atoms, is there not? Just as the stars are in the sky. You see, it is also very beneficial for you to realize that as you are counting the stars, whether it is a physical counting of the stars, or it is in a way the way you count your blessings, as you may count the wonderful stars above you or the wonderful blessings floating above your life, that perhaps it would be useful to you to acknowledge the space between the stars. For it is the space between the stars that is perhaps taking up more space in the overall picture. The stars that you are seeing and focused on are not taking up as much real estate, so to speak, in the bigger picture of the sky. And so there is space in between. And what is this space? Is it empty space? If you are going to change your perceptions, and your perceptions and understandings are continually changing through your further education of what is, for you begin to understand simply that the devices that you are using are tapping into a certain scientific understanding of how to emit and to send information through the air, which certainly a century or two ago would be considered voodoo or magic. And then what is magic? Certainly, perhaps magic from where you are. Magic perhaps is simply a science that you have yet to discover. For those who have lived a few centuries ago, These devices would seem to be magic, certainly by their standards and by their understandings and perceptions. And so things are existing that are beyond your current perceptions and your evolution, or let us say, your surrendering to what you are. Let us for a moment pause there. On one hand, we have what you are considering your evolution. That seems to be on a linear timeline, that you are growing from perhaps the sperm into an elderly person. That is your evolution. And you are seeing you're growing from a small being into a larger physical being, in evolution, so to speak. And yet you are considering, those who are philosophical, whether time itself exists. You need not consider yourself unlucky to be pondering these things. You simply do not actually have to think about whether time exists or not, because your reality is simply about how you feel. Your emotional life is your life. That is what is meant when "how are you?" is asked. And so all of your reality has to do with how you feel. And that is what we are here to discuss with you. Certainly not the intricacies of the physical manifestation of reality and all of its scientific jargon, to explain it to you, simply so that you would choose to be happier. The reason perhaps that we bring these examples forward is to give you an example and to show you that you are in the midst of much information that is always available to you, and that your mission, if it is even a mission, should be to delight in this, to delight in the fact that there is always a surplus of valuable, cohesive, relevant, and balanced information around you, within your body. Everything is in order. There is nothing that is out of order. There are things that have been discovered scientifically that originally seemed to be chaotic. Then they were further investigated and found to be quite natural and beneficial, and you found out that is why these things happen. You are beginning to then apply this to your own life, to understand why the movements in your life are very much one with nature itself. You are not separate from nature, are you? You are nature itself. You are not man within nature. You are, as you are flesh, you are the expression. Your body is the expression in this particular time frame of who you are as a soul. For the totality of what you are perhaps will remain a mystery forever. But in this life you have chosen to be this person with this physical background of genetics, your parentage, your gender, your interpretation of all of that then is up to you. What you do with it is then how you are creating it. And so as you are moving forward and going for the things that you want, you are applying with all of your capacities to remember that which you have discovered as eternal truth for yourself. The moment that you bring others into it for any other purpose than to inform you, for any other purpose than to inform you, then you are in a state of unbalance, for you are then relying on others to simply be put to make you happy, for things to happen so that you will then be happy. If they happen, you are happy. If they do not, then you are waiting eternally. You are waiting to exhale, as the expression goes. Create in your mind at the moment your ideal situation. See yourself there with the home that you desire. the partner you desire, the family you desire, the physical body you desire, the amount of money in your bank that you desire, the amount of vitality in your physical being that you desire, the friends that you desire, the respect that you desire, and all of it. Make it a very complete picture. You can almost do it instantaneously. Now let us see how far that is away from you. Let us say it is very close. Let us say it is a year away. And so what shall you do between now and that year? That moment when you are laying in that bed, in that house, with that partner, with that amount of money, in that neighborhood, with that vitality in your body, with those friends, and that, so on, and so on, and so on. Let us go to that perfect moment. Is that when you shall then release your breath? Are you sure that even then is when you shall exhale and not worry anymore? Or if everything then was satisfied? At that moment, you would then begin to get the very sneaky and suspicious feeling that perhaps you have been had. For there are many who have achieved all of these things. Many on the planet have achieved what we have just described. And many of them have told you, don't be so sure. And then you valiantly say, just give me the opportunity. Give me all of those things and see how I shall be. And this shall be is your undoing. For it is not here and now. You are waiting for it all to be perfect, for it all to be silent, so to speak. There is no more noise from the rafters anymore. There is no one in your way. Everyone is doing and being and acting the way that you wish that they would, not only in your own life, but perhaps in other countries, perhaps politically, perhaps socially. Perhaps everywhere in the world, everyone is doing everything that you think they should. How long do you think you will be waiting for that one? Perhaps you say, I don't care what happens in the world. I only wish for my own immediate world. Then, my friends, you believe in creating your own world and the separation of that world from the other. But you see, for the world that you wish to have, let us say you do not care about the world at all, for the world that you wish to have, which would be perhaps your own inner circle, you would undoubtedly need the resources or interaction with the so-called outside world, wouldn't you? For not even the tree is independent, is it? It needs the earth and the soil and the fertilizer and the rain and the sun and the bugs and all of it. There's nothing that is independent. It does not exist. Reality is interdependent. You may perhaps be angry about this. Perhaps there are those who feel, I did it all myself. There is no one who has done it all themselves. Even some of the greatest classical paintings that you admire so greatly, 50% of them were done by the students, not the master himself, as you are discovering. Even you were not made by yourself. You do not even know how you were made. And yet you certainly can agree that your physical body was not made by you alone, was it? You were birthed by two different individuals. And your DNA, physically, is part of their DNA. And so at the very core, there seems to be a separation, a belief that you are alone, that you are here navigating to do something here, and that it is difficult, challenging, certainly, perhaps. But for the person who is blind, many of them do not feel that life is challenging. They are very happy to walk on the beach and smell the ocean and feel the breeze, though they cannot see it, or feel the water between their toes. They are not saying it is challenging. Whether you are blind or not, or to the degree of which you are blind or deaf, perhaps remains to be discovered by you, or not. Either way, it returns then again to your feeling in the moment. And as you are listening to the words that we are conveying to you, if you then allow yourself to surrender to it or to resist it, either way, the concept has landed within your consciousness. And then you may decide whether peace comes from this way of thinking or your own, the way you have been doing it. And only you truly know whether you are at peace. It matters not the face that you show to others. It matters not what they say about you or do not say about you, compliment you or do not compliment you. For everyone can agree. You may gather the whole world to say that you are beautiful and peaceful, yet if you do not feel beautiful and peaceful, it matters not what they say, does it? And so at this very moment, every one of you knows whether you are being honest, truthful, and with yourself peaceful. That you know. And so this work, if you were to call it that, would be then to see what makes the most sense to you. If surrendering to the magic and the love and the eternalness of what you are, for who you are matters not. Who you are can perhaps constantly change. The definitions endlessly, you can constantly say, well, what does that mean? Who you are. Is it your name? What is this identity? You have lived many lifetimes. Which one were you? Who is you? They are all you. Then what is that? Ultimately, you wish to know what it is. If you choose that you are love, you may find very powerful freedom in this, for it can be applied in any situation. It can be applied in any aspect of your thinking, in any aspect of your reactionary mind. It is not a cliché, by any means, to say that love is the answer. For it encompasses everything. There is nothing that is not love, even at its core. Everything is rooted in love. Even those who are acting out of anger are acting out of anger because they were not able to feel love. So the reason again is love. And the reason that they are able to be angry is because somewhere in their life they knew love. And when they began to see or experience situations where they felt that love was not present, they began to become angry. And so it is their awareness of their own feeling of love that makes them lash out to want to get more love. Even their anger, their destructive habits are still in an effort to get more love. Your prisons are filled with love-starved individuals. Do you not believe that? Currently, your solution is to punish them. Punish those who are already punished. They acted out in violence and anger because they were already feeling punished. And so, what seemed to be the most logical solution was to place them in inhumane conditions for an indefinite amount of time with other individuals who are suffering as they are. And as you awaken to yourselves, your compassion and your understanding of personal hell will then expand to other human beings, and you will then find you have endless energy to encourage, empower, enlighten, and nurture one another, rather than the system of punishment that you have going on, which is rooted in an archaic interpretation of heaven and hell. For heaven and hell is your choice. You can be miserable at a celebration, could you not? You have been, all of you have been in a physical party or celebration, have been miserable at it. Or perhaps you were in an area or situation where everyone was sad and you were not. And so then what is reality? Only what you are feeling. That is reality. You may say, but the sky is blue, that is a reality. Not if the person sees shades of pink in it. It is different to everyone. Is the person who is blind aware of the sky or not? Perhaps you do have no idea how they are aware of a sky above them. Every moment you are choosing a perspective, and either that perspective is empowering you or it is not. This is not disheartening information. This is very powerful if you choose it to be. Your choice is very, very powerful. It is the most powerful thing that you are capable of. Is your choice and perspective on all things. Bless you.